Ladies, gentlemen, Octanes, and Roadhogs, thank you for joining us tonight as we go over the QRLS Season 5 draft grades and way too early power rankings. Joining me tonight in the booth with professional critical opinions is none other than Alex RL. Alex, how's it going, my friend?
Not too bad. How about yourself?
It's going, and we are here to do some good criticism and maybe some bad criticism of some of the team's performances this offseason, including during the Season 5 draft, the biggest draft we've ever had, Alex, 18 total picks, and it was honestly a lot more fun than I expected it would turn out to be.
Yeah, actually, I really enjoyed this stream. I remember the last few seasons it was a lot shorter, but this season there was a lot of interesting trades, a lot of interesting picks, and just in general, I actually enjoyed watching the draft.
Absolutely. Now, the rundown we are going to go down tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is as follows. We are going to be grading every franchise's draft performance in reversed order of the final season standings last season. Therefore, the 4 expansion teams will be saved at the end of the draft grades. And then immediately afterwards, we will be going over Alex's power ranking opinions and then my own to finish off the show. So a lot of fun stuff here, Alex, and we're going to get right into it with the Hammerheads. And as you can see, they had the number 6 pick of the draft, who was the eventual pick, Fabrizi. But right before that pick was made, we heard that trade ticker notification on stream, and for a hot second, it looked like something spicy was going to happen.
Yeah, for sure. I actually didn't expect this trade to come through, but I mean, Toast has his ways.
Yeah, no doubt, and obviously Eagle was on the Hammerheads for the majority of the offseason, ends up getting sent to Vibe Clan for Doctors DW, who was the pick immediately before the Hammerheads, which we will get to later on. And the Hammerheads, another key note on this, end up with a Season 6 Vibe Clan pick.
Yeah, actually, I was a little curious why this trade happened, but I believe that Season 6 Vibe Clan pick is actually going to come real and handy for the Hammerheads next season.
Absolutely. How do you think you would grade the Hammerheads draft this season, especially after finishing at the bottom of the QRLS standings? And real quick, Slurpy Snail with the subscription at Tier 1. Thank you very much to the captain of the 3 Rocketeers.
I actually gave this an A. Fabrizi's a great team player when it comes to everything. He's just an all-around great player. The trade, I was a little skeptical about it because, I mean, Eagle being on the Hammerheads last season, Eagle is a great just teammate in general. Of course, he goes for some pogos and private matches, but he takes the league matches very seriously, and he's just an all-around great player and great teammate. With the trade for Doctor, it looked down in that trade, but with the pick, it looked up. And eventually the Hammerheads picking up someone else later. But in all, I gave this an A.
Yeah, no question about it. And you mentioned the pickup by the Hammerheads later on. They now have 4 players on the roster fighting for 3 spots. So a little bit of competition there because all 3 players outside of Billy Bob are right around that same QRLS rating.
Yeah, exactly. I honestly don't know who the 3 are going to be, other than Billy Bob.
Yeah, the captain of captains here, looking to turn the Hammerheads franchise around after last season. Moving on, we see the Speed Demons, who finished 7th out of 8 franchises last season, and they had the number 7 pick of the draft, end up picking Scraps. I honestly love this pick.
Oh yeah, I gave this an A+ for sure. With the cap space that Sir Brodude and Golden Pickle have, I thought this was a great pick. It's a great pickup for the team in a sense, because I know Sir Brodude and Golden Pickle they not only save the ball, but they want to go up in the field as well, and they wanted to get someone that would encourage them to do so and have someone that they could trust to rotate around them just to make sure the long range goals didn't go in. But I think Scraps is a great pick. Just an overall team player when it comes to being third man or first, second, whatever. Just in general, A+ pick.
Yeah, and this is going to be the first season for the Speed Demons under their new rebrand and under their new captain, Sir Brodude, who has now taken the keys to this franchise. I'm very interested to see how that goes for them. Moving on, the Bleacher Boys had the number 8 pick of the draft, and they picked Torek. And we're going to go over power rankings later on, but immediately after this pick, I think everybody kind of started taking notes on this Bleacher Boys team.
Yeah, this is another A+ pick. I was honestly surprised Torek went this late, just because he's been so active in the Discord and in the private matches and everything. I actually have been scared of playing with him sometimes, just because of how deadly he can be. Being around K1 and Alec, I know they've gotten tremendously better from when they started, and this team is definitely scary for sure.
Yeah, Alec, the captain of the Bleacher Boys. This will be his 3rd season as captain, completing 4 now, and he made 2 cuts at the end of last season and sort of flipped the roster in hopes of the playoff push towards the end, which ultimately did not go in their favor, but nonetheless, they have now set themselves up for success this season with Alex, as you mentioned, that A+ pick.
Yeah, honestly, this team is going to be deadly. They're one of, well, you'll see later, but they are one of the top 3 teams, and just the overall ranking of their team is very close together, which just makes a general great team.
Absolutely great points here. Moving on, Vibe Clan, the talk of the town during this draft. We're going to start off real slow here. They had the number 5 pick via a trade of the Hammerheads in Season 3, which they used to pick Doctors DW. So this pick originally wasn't even theirs to begin with. They had this pick from the Hammerheads way before any of the trade talks during the draft happened. They end up picking Doctors DW, and then while the Hammerheads are on the clock, they trade Doctors DW for Eagle, and they also send a Season 6 draft pick with Doctors DW. And then ultimately they end up dropping Mimsy, who they claimed off of retirement rights, who later on ends up signing with the Hammerheads. So, these two have been interdivision franchises for the last 4 seasons. Now, obviously, not in the same division anymore, and they're making moves here, Alex.
Yeah, this is an A+ team for sure. With the trade, the Dr. W pick, I was skeptical again, but with the trade for Eagle, Squid, and Toaster, it's going to be insane. That I don't see them losing more than 5 games this season.
Wow, bold prediction there by the pro. I'm going to start calling you now, Alex. You're the pro here on QRLS streams moving forward. But yeah, great pick here. The rebrand by Vibe Clan. Toaster, the captain, has really invested a ton of time and effort into this league and into the franchise. So we'll see if the gamble pays off here, bringing in Eagle and getting rid of that Season 6 pick in hopes of possibly winning a QRLS Cup here in Season 5. Moving on, the 3 Rocketeers had the number 10 pick of the Season 5 draft, and they brought back Lemur Arms, the former captain of the franchise. One thing to note here, they only had 1 pick. However, they dropped both of their players prior to the draft pool, and eventually post-draft, they signed the undrafted Wanted Toast. So now that we have the complete team here, Alex, what do you think about this 3 Rocketeers squad and the defending MVP, Slurpy Snail?
I gave this team an A, just because the ranks for the team in general, Slurpee being a GC, I'm not sure really what Lemur or Wanted Toast are completely, but the ranks are a little sorted out, I believe. But in general, I think this team is really going to be a pop-off team. I heard Slurpee actually had like over 1,200 points in a few of their games, I believe 2 days ago in scrims. But if Slurpee's playing on his game, the other 2 are definitely going to be. I could see this team going pretty far.
Wanted Toast, an active rookie in the server ever since joining into the league. And also Lemur Arms, a league veteran for sure, one of the original 12, but also has improved drastically since this league has kicked off. And I don't think a lot of people are keeping him in the back of their minds that this guy can and will complement Slurpee.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's got some banger passes up his sleeve, I swear.
Moving on, we have Clarity United. They had the number 11 pick of the draft. They were one of 4 playoff teams last season, and they end up picking RL Zombie. They lost Throttle Dog, one of their 2 All-Stars to the league expansion, who is now the captain of the Rangers franchise. Give us your thoughts on Clarity's pick here.
I gave it a B, just because I know Zombie and Heartless work really well together because they've known each other, but they had a cap of 282 for their pick, and I just didn't expect it. They have plenty of other players to pick up higher, but I don't know. Maybe they have a trick up their sleeve. Maybe it comes to it, and they beat everybody.
Yeah, honestly, amongst people that doubt Clarity United, I was one of those people last season. Early on, and they eventually ended up going to win their division, ended up making the playoffs, and had a really good run, and hosted 2 All-Stars as well. So you never know what the Jet is going to be able to pull out of his sleeve. Another one of the original 12 in this league, so it is very intriguing to see what the Savage Division's veteran franchise is going to pull off here in Season 5. Next up, we have the Gold Diggers. They lost in the finals this season. They had the number 12 pick, and with that pick, they pick Von Rabbit, and then later on in the draft, in the second round, they were compensated a pick because both their players retired at the end of the season, and they end up picking ZDL Pinky, which we all know the story post-draft. Give us the draft reaction here, Alex, and then the post-draft reaction.
The Rabbit pick I expected. Rabbit's a great team player, and I think Terror and him will actually complement each other very well. The Pinky pickup, everyone loves Pinky. He's a great player, but with their cap available, I didn't expect him to draft that low. And then the next day he did pick up Nemo, which I think is a great pick. I think all of them will get better together. They may not necessarily be a better team this season, but if they all grow together and become better, I think they could do next season or the season after. They could be a real team.
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree with the Von Rabbit pick, too, because had he not picked Rabbit at that moment, personally, I don't think Rabbit would have fallen to the 18th pick afterwards. So if he wanted Rabbit, that was the point he had to pick him.
Yeah, he was definitely going next round.
And then moving on, the last team that we have seen play before in the league is the Kings, the Season 4 champions, first ever 2-time championship franchise here in the QRLS. They had the number 9 pick of Panda 240SX. This guy, welcome back. And then the number 13 pick of Robbie Riddlehoove, which on stream, K1 Killer was quoted in saying that this is going to be a dangerous team.
Oh yeah, for sure. I in general gave this team an A, just because Blubber and Panda have played together a lot. Robbie actually subbed in last season, and they ended up winning. But with Panda being a main member, he's gotten so much better. He might call himself a plat sometimes, but he's definitely a solid champ. He surprises me half the time. With Robbie, he had some Wi-Fi problems early on. I believe he actually got new Wi-Fi. So it will be really interesting to see how this team plays out. And I can't wait to see them play as a team in scrims, preseason, in the season. I just can't wait to see this team play.
The Kings also are now in a new division. They are in the brand new Epic division after winning their second title here in the league. So a lot of new things coming for the Kings and Captain Blubbernut, who is the all-time leader in pretty much whatever you can look at in terms of stats. If not, he's top 3. So great stuff here coming for the Kings, and I'm very intrigued to see what this franchise can do, because going into the draft, it looked like they kind of had the cards stacked against them, but leaving the draft, I was very impressed.
I was as well. With the 9 and 13 pick, I was really skeptical about them getting good picks, but with how the trades worked and how the picks fell, they got a good team.
No question about it. We now go into the expansion teams. We are starting off with the Rangers, who had the number 4 pick of the draft, and they picked Sea Strife, which was very weird and voodoo-like called by our caster in the booth during the draft. Von Rabbit might have had a little insider trading there, who knows. But then
Maybe.
the number 17 pick of Ripple, the rumor has it that there were some schedule conflicts with Ripple, ends up getting dropped for Avoidable Clown post-draft, which we're going to talk about Avoidable Clown later on. But, post-draft here, we have an all-star of Season 4 in Throttle Dog, now leading this new franchise. What do you think of this squad?
I gave this team an A as well. So, Corey, or Sea Strife, has been in the private matches. He's a new player, but he's been in the private matches. He's been around. He's a very well-known player, getting GC last season, and he will work very well with Throttle Dog. With the pick of Ripple, I actually didn't know a bunch about him, just in the sense I hadn't seen him around the Discord. A few people said they had. But with him dropping because of scheduling conflicts, Avoidable Clown pickup was amazing. This team is going to be a very trying to think of the word. A very even team. With all of them being playing together other than Sea Strife, but I believe they've been putting in some hard work. Their passes are going to be amazing. Corey's or Sea Strife is going to put that ball in the net. And Throttle Dog has got him back too.
Yeah, absolutely. And, this is going to be a very, very fun team to watch, especially because they are in the now stacked calculated division, which we will foreshadow a little bit moving on. Going on to the next team, Astro Gaming had the number 3 pick of the draft. They picked up So Garbage RN, and with the 16th pick, they end up picking Avoidable Clown in the draft, but drop him for Pro Dark Shane post-draft, and Bolton, the captain of this Astro Gaming squad, is brand new to the league, was selected through application process to be a captain, and, already making moves and stuff. And, what do you think of the draft and the Avoidable Clown drop here?
I actually gave this team a B+, just because playing with Bolton a lot, I've noticed that So Garbage right now and Bolton have sort of the same playstyle. So it's going to be interesting to see how both of them play out in the team. But the drop of Avoidable Clown for Pro Dark Shane, I actually called a few days ago. And I think that's a great pickup. He's not necessarily a great third man, but he's a great team player to where he can definitely save the ball. If Bolton and Garbage end up double committing because their play styles, Pro Dark Shane's got that net handled.
Yeah, very interesting indeed. Astro Gaming fell into the Savage division during the league realignment, so they're going to have a lot of work to do to get by teams among the likes of Vibe Clan and Clarity United. However, it will be fun to watch nonetheless. With the number 2 pick, we had the Spectres take on Butcher, and with the 15 pick, they had Strive, and a lot of people thought that this squad won the draft.
Honestly, I would agree with that, because Butcher, I hadn't seen play a lot, but I played with him actually a few days ago. He is a great pickup for this squad with Masa, and Strive I was skeptical about just because of last season having the whole not being able to get on as much and end up being dropped last season because of that. But with this being summer, I think this team is going to handle it very well. I actually watched them in scrims a couple days ago, and they were pulling some weight. They were doing really well.
Yeah, what do you give this squad for a draft grade here, Alex?
I gave them an A-.
Very, very good stuff. The Spectres are the only team that hit the cap exactly this season at 580. Last season, we saw Clarity United hit the cap spot on the money. This season, it is the Spectres. And lastly, the last expansion team, the one everybody was talking about before the draft, the Cyclones, who had the number 1 pick, end up picking Kachow. You couldn't have scripted that any better. But moving on to their second pick, Zavri, I was not expecting that pick by the Cyclones, but nonetheless, I loved it.
Yeah, I actually wasn't expecting that pick either. But with Kachow, he's very fast. He can get to the ball before mostly anybody in this league. But with Zavri, I actually hadn't heard from him in a little while, so I wasn't really sure about the pick in a sense. But I've heard difference. He's been around. I actually think this team is going to be the new Kings from last season and just take it all the way.
Wow, great stuff here. Big predictions. And moving on to predictions, I want to talk power rankings. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the next screen you will see is Alex RL's iteration of his version of the power rankings in the league. Alex, as we take a look at your screen, you have Vibe Clan at the top, number 1 for the WayTooEarly power rankings. What do you make of this? Let's start all the way at the bottom here. Let's start 12 and go all the way up to 1.
So, Gold Diggers, just because of how the draft worked out and everything, the picks fell. They didn't necessarily get the best picks. So I think they're going to struggle winning a lot of games against, especially a lot of these stacked teams of how it worked this season. I think they win a few, but not necessarily a lot. With Clare United, they went all the way last season and lost to the Kings in the first round of the playoffs, which surprised a lot of people. I think it's a over-under to if they do better or not. It could be a bust, it could be not. With the Speed Demons, they might go better than 10. With the pick of Scraps, it was a really good pick. And with Sir Bro Dude and Golden Pickle, if they're on their game, that team does a lot better than 10. Astro Gaming, with the pick of Garbage, I was a little uneven about the two, Bolton and Garbage, being together just because of their playstyles. So I put them at 9. With the Spectres, I actually right now think they're going to do a lot better than 8. Just because Butcher's a solid player, Masa can handle it really well, and Strive being on his game, he's going to do work. With the Kings, Blubber's all-time MVP for sure. Panda, always a great player. And Robbie, if his internet works, he's going to put in work. With the Hammerheads, Billy Bob being a Season 3 champion?
Season 3 champ and MVP that season.
Yeah, exactly. That he's going to put in work no matter who's on his team. He always has a chance. But that team, Fabrizi, Fabrizi's a great pickup for that team. If Mimsy or Doctor get the pick, that team's still going to be stacked. With the Rangers, Corey, Sea Strife, Throttle Dog, and now Avoidable Clown.
Right.
They're just a great overall team. If Sea Strife is on his game, they're going to put the ball in the net. With the Cyclones, Night Leaper's great picks of Kachow, which it was the number overall pick. Kachow puts in work, that team does well. That's just how it works. 3 Rocketeers, Slurpee being the captain, also a Season 3 champion. He is just insane. He keeps the ball out of the net. I don't even know how. Some of the replays are just absolutely insane. With the pick of Lemur, it was a great pick. He's going to cooperate Slurpee with the passes and saves. With the Bleacher Boys, they're just... Bleacher Boys and Vibe Clan, it's a 1 and 2. Like, both those teams are stacked. With the pick of Toric, I was surprised he went that late. But Toric, K1, and Alec are just going to be insane. With Vibe Clan having Eagle now, and Toaster and Squid, all three of them have been around for a while. So they're going to have chemistry, which is why I put them at the top.
Absolutely great stuff here. Ladies and gentlemen, before we move on to my iteration of the power rankings, let us know what you think about Alex's. Let us know what you think in the chat. I want to hear everybody. And I also want to give a quick shout out to Sir Brodude, who also subscribed here tonight. Thank you very much to the captain of the Speed Demons. Moving on, my iteration of the Season 5 Way Too Early power rankings. There are some subtle differences here, but let me explain myself. So, obviously, the bottom two, I couldn't agree more with you here, Alex. They can only go up, in my opinion, just based on the cap differential that we saw during the draft. I did flip-flop the Speed Demons and Astro Gaming. I do think Scraps is going to be a bigger impact than we might realize for the Speed Demons, and I think Golden Pickle's improvement has gone under the radar and is going to be a very, very solid thing for the Speed Demons franchise. And I did also flip the Spectres and the Kings. The only reason I don't have the Spectres higher here is because of the question marks surrounding Strive. I don't know, what the deal is with the scheduling and with the availability. So that's the only dark horse that I think could skyrocket in my version of the power rankings. I also flip-flopped the Hammerheads and the Rangers. Throttle Dog is going to have to deal with the transition of running a team this season, not only just playing, and that is not the easiest of transitions, as we saw with Slurpee Snail and Billy Bob last season, both kind of falling down the cracks in the standings last season, albeit the three Rocketeers making a late playoff push. I do think the Cyclones are at number 4, just like you said. I think it really, the variable all goes down to Zavri. That dude played amazing last season after getting picked up by the three Rocketeers. If he can keep up that level of play, this team is going to front run a stacked, calculated division, which I want to remind everybody, 3 through 6 are all of the calculated division teams on both myself and Alex's power rankings. Alex, that's kind of nutty.
Yeah, all those teams are going to... It's going to be a back-and-forth battle. I think all of those teams go really close to even.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And then on your and my power rankings as well, we both have Vibe and Bleacher Boys, except I have them flip-flopped, but both of those teams are in the Savage division as well. So right away, the top six teams on both of our sheets are all four at the bottom are in the same division, and the top 2 are in the same division as well.
Yeah, it's going to be that Bleacher Boys Vibe clan. That's going to be a series to watch every single time.
It is going to be an insane season here, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot wait to see how this all plays out. Alex, thank you for joining me tonight. I want to give a quick couple of questions for you, though, however, before we shoot this thing off. And I want you to answer really quickly who you think the 3 division champions are going to be at the end of next season in the Epic, the Savage, and the Calculated division.
I think Vibe Clan takes theirs, for sure. I think it's going to be a real uphill battle for them, but I think they take it for sure. With those 3 through 6, honestly, I think Kachow takes the cake with Cyclones. And with the last one, Kachow's got it. And with the last one, I'm actually not quite sure who's going to take that. Honestly, I think Speed Demons take that.
Wow, awesome stuff.
It's Pickle. Pickle's gotten better.
Very, very good stuff here. You heard it here, folks. He calls the Speed Demons in Epic, he calls the Cyclones in Calculated, and he calls Vibe Clan in the Savage division. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been your Draft Grades and Way Too Early Power Rankings stream. Thank you for joining us here in the QRLS. Keep your eyes out for any preseason scrimmages that might be coming up on stream, as these are going to be sort of impromptu, but nonetheless, if we can get a stream going for them, we will put it out there and get you guys more QRLS content. Without that, we have week 1 coming on June 26th is officially the start of week 1, so everybody mark your calendars. That is going to be one of the most exciting week 1s we have ever had in QRLS. Don't forget to check out the merch store and the Discord for all of the QRLS content, and also check out the YouTube and the brand new TikTok page that we have launched courtesy of our marketing department in Slurpy Snail and Alec Big. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, keep it quick.